Good evening. This evening, we're going to be talking about Alzheimer's disease and how L-arginine is able to help with Alzheimer's disease, which I believe is really, really important news. I'm delighted to be joined by Annie Barr, MBE from the UK. Annie, lovely to have you on, and Happy
Lovely
New
to be
Year.
with you again. Thank you. Happy
Yes,
New Year, everybody.
yes, indeed. And so, really, I feel personally that this is a really positive start to 2026, Annie, actually. This study that came out of Japan at the end of October, which, okay, it's a preliminary study, but it's um, positive about the role of L-arginine helping with Alzheimer's disease. What do you think of that?
I think it's phenomenal. I think we've always known it was a fantastic product, and its role in heart disease and melting plaque, etc., and helping with people with hypertension and strokes, etc. And it doesn't surprise me actually. The product is so good. I
Yeah,
think anecdotally we've kind of both understood that was something that could be a huge benefit. But to see it in writing and to see
yes,
the study being published is fantastic. And we're both of us really quite excited about that. I mean, if you consider that Alzheimer's is a massive increase in Alzheimer's, hasn't there? Over the years, and it's getting worse. It's not getting better.
yeah,
And there's many forms of Alzheimer's, many forms of dementia, and it's projected to be nearly 140 million people worldwide over the next 10 years or so, and it could be even worse than that.
yes,
So
yeah. And the thing about Alzheimer's, Annie, is that like it is so devastating, really, for families, and for the individuals themselves. I'm sure as the disease starts to take hold, I'm sure it must be quite frightening for those people, to kind of realize, or do they realize that this is happening to them?
I think
Do
they
you think?
do, and I think that yes, and I think of course it depends on the circumstances and the person, but it can be something that's around for between it can last up to 30 years, depending on the
Right.
type of dementia you've got. My own mother died of dementia,
Really?
secondary to yes, and a stroke as a result of the dementia, originally caused by I would suggest very strongly a B12 deficiency. So, so the
Hmm.
whole thing, from the first symptoms of any type of dementia, there are many types of dementia, not just Alzheimer's. Alzheimer's kind of encompasses a whole lot of them. Um,
Right.
but there are specific parts of the brain that that do show particular symptoms, and you can manage some of those symptoms if you know what the behaviors and what part of the brain has been affected. Eventually, all the brain
Mhm.
gets affected, obviously, but in the early
Yeah.
stages, it could be just memory, or it could be executive function, not able to work things out, plan things. Um,
Mhm.
it could be. It's not always a memory thing. It's to start with. It could be other. It could be other factors, and I think when you're around it and when you see it, and when you first maybe start to realize it's quite frightening. People are frightened. It's the biggest fear in a lot of people. I think people
Yes.
they can tolerate cancers, and they can tolerate heart issues, and they can tolerate all sorts of things. But one of the things that everybody would find absolutely intolerable is losing your mind
Yes.
and not being aware.
Yes, and that's the thing. It's losing your independence, really,
Yes.
and losing your connection with your loved ones, uh, and then potentially losing your ability to be able to live at home independently or
Mhm.
with a partner who may be, unable to care for you anymore. Like, I think it's just huge. And I've really feel very passionate about this in terms of wanting to get this very important information out to people. Because to me, this is huge because it means people, will be able to manage this and potentially, reverse it because
Yeah,
of opening up the blood flow in the body.
yeah,
And as a result of that, be able to continue to live in their own home,
yes,
you know?
absolutely. And all of the benefits of that and all of the savings of that in relation
Yes,
to, finance and the thought that people have to pay upwards of something like £5,000
a month.
a month, in
Yeah,
some cases 2 or 3 thousand a week depending on where you live, um
yes,
for care. And and if we're to think about the cost effectiveness of everything and the costs of
yes,
all of that, um it's not just the cost to the person, it's the cost to the family, it's the loss of independence, it's the effect it has on everybody. It's not just a one person disease. It affects families,
yes.
and that's the
And
that's
also,
the thing.
Annie, something that I feel is very important and relevant in this discussion is the fact that this can help people to hold on to their own home. Because in a lot of cases, I don't know, we have a thing in Ireland called Fair Deal Scheme. And so what that means is that people have to come to an agreement with the state if they're going into a nursing home. I don't know the finer details of it. It is something I will be researching. But this changes that whole landscape. It changes it has implications for generational wealth, family wealth, for family to be able to retain the family home, that they don't lose it. And that's huge.
Oh, it's massive, and I suppose we better talk about what it is that we're talking about in terms of the
Yes,
research, the
yes,
research paper itself. And
yeah,
I think you will put some links in to
yes,
to this, when we
when we're
finish. But
finished. Yeah.
it's a publication, isn't it, that was published in December.
It was published, Annie, actually at the end of October, I think,
Okay.
from Japan.
Okay, but the article's dated December.
Oh,
When
sorry.
I'm looking at it, but it might have been published somewhere. But the article's
Yes,
December, and it's just talking about the amyloid. Um, the antibody for Alzheimer's disease and how L-arginine, stops it. And
yes,
the studies indicate that um, the oral administration of the arginine, reduce the deposits of the amyloid plaques in the
yes,
brain. And it's such a safe and effective and cost-effective way
yes,
to treat this. It's quite phenomenal that obviously the studies were done in animals, and there's
yes,
more to be done, but it's quite an amazing find that the arginine is really potentially as well, looking at other kind of wide ranges of neurodegenerative diseases.
right.
It not just and not just Alzheimer's, but other things that maybe come in time with the studies that they're doing. But it's quite an amazing. So everybody, we just need to point you to the research, and Sinead
Yeah,
will do that. But what we're really talking about is the synergy product, which is ProArgi, which has been named as the best in the world in terms of L-arginine, and the
yes,
amount of L-arginine that's in it is unique. You do
yes,
get L-arginine in other products, but with the synergy product, you get the highest bioavailable form of it,
yes,
and it's just in a drink. Who would have thought that a supplement a simple supplement could have such an
Yes.
effect. Um, Obviously, we're not saying that it cures anything. What we're just
No.
saying is the preliminary studies are showing really
Yes.
good results, and it would be something to incorporate into the diet, and it would be something that would be incorporated into the routine of
Yes.
everybody, really, not just those, but for preventative
Yeah.
reasons and proactive reasons as well.
Absolutely. And the beauty is, I mean, there's many angles, in my opinion, that this is really so good. Number one, obviously, the product is very pleasant tasting and easy to take. So, it's not as if you're, gagging at something or saying, oh God, do I really have to take this? And number two, as you just alluded to there, Annie, like it's not just in relation to brain health, even though obviously that is obviously crucial, but vascular health in general.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
it'll benefit the whole body.
It will, and it does, and it's I mean, its invention won a Nobel Prize in 1998. This is not
That's right.
a fad. This is not something that's never been studied. This is something that's been proven to really help. And
Yes,
and also kind of getting back to your point about the impact and the social and economic impact that it has on people. And in the UK, we have systems whereby people have to pay for their care as well, and and
yes,
their house, maybe they lose their home, and their home,
yeah,
the money they make from the home has got to be used towards the care, and it's just horrendous, really. And so it's a massive impact, socially and economically, and in every other way, spiritually and physically, um, and
yeah,
um, and mentally. It's a massive it's a massive thing. And I think when you think about, I mean, I remember my mum had a type of dementia that was more akin to vascular and Lewy body type of dementia, which meant that there were parts of her brain that were working. Her memory was incredible.
really.
But yeah, so she could remember where she was going. She could remember what she was doing. She could remember a PIN number. She could remember everything. But she was violent. She was very violent. And
Okay.
when you have that aspect onto it as well,
Mm,
it can get quite scary. Um,
yes,
and that's what families have to face, with stuff like
yes.
this. So, um,
Mm,
the fact that we could talk to people about the Pro RG and about the Synergy product, particularly the Pro RG, is something that we know we need to shout the rooftops about, don't we?
absolutely. Absolutely. And that's my intention, to be honest with you. I really, that's what I will be doing, And actually, in Ireland at the moment, I noticed that there's this campaign and it's by an organization called Alone. So it shows a woman who, an elderly woman in her home brushing her hair, and she's saying, "All I want to do is be in my own home." And like,
Yeah,
this very thing is obviously it's a personal thing, but this is the very thing that will help facilitate that. Such a
absolutely.
simple thing.
I know, and it's quite interesting that there is obviously there's no place like home, but I think until you're about to lose it, or until if you don't have anywhere, um, there's a lady at the moment who is she's a Christian lady, and she does a podcast that I listen to, Laura Lynn Tyler Thompson, and she's quite amazing, and she's probably in her late 40s, maybe 50s, and she's just one of her friends died just a few months ago, and his name was William. And anyway, long story short, she's actually started to work in Vancouver, where she is, and with the homeless.
Right.
and she's building them homes, she's building them rooms. So her and her team are going out and they're picking people that are homeless,
Wow.
and they've got
Yeah.
these facilities in Vancouver where the homeless have a room, and they've been given a
Hmm.
room. I think it's a social, like a social services type of thing, but they've been given this room and it's theirs, and I mean, the room's diabolical. There's nothing in it.
Yes.
But she's now on her third project, which she's just started in November. So she's now on
Yes.
her third one. And
Yes.
anyway, what I'm saying it for is because the impact of what she's done, just building one room,
Yeah.
just putting a bed in it, putting a telly in it, putting a fridge in
Hmm.
it, putting a microwave in it, putting a wardrobe in it, is just giving these people, uh, hope,
It's a
you know,
home.
and a
And it's a
home,
home,
and
Annie.
a home. And when you think about it, we all want home, and to be in a nursing home,
Yes.
is not ideal for anybody.
No.
It just isn't. I mean, I
Uh,
understand that they have to be there, but I'm not a lover of them.
yes. But the thing is that, like, if we can reduce the demand, I'm sure there's far more demand for nursing home spaces than are available anyway. So, you know, like like I said, going to be shouting from the rooftops now, Annie, and getting on to all my contacts about this and getting the word out there.
I think
And
so.
also, I think it's also important from the prevention perspective, for people,
Yes.
like you and I, that thankfully we're healthy now. I mean, I do take L-arginine every day myself,
Yeah.
but we need to get that message out there to people as well that they need to be doing that in order to um, prevent Alzheimer's disease,
Yeah,
dementia.
yeah, to be proactive and not reactive. We're such a
Yes,
reactive society. We need to be
yes,
more proactive in getting the messages out to people that, it's one thing to be, you know, proactive about things, and preventing things. And then it's a whole other ball game when you're in an acute situation, and that's a
yes,
whole different ball game. And you don't want to be there. You want to get to the.
exactly.
You want to be. Um, people might think, "Oh, this will never happen to me," but the
Hmm.
statistics are saying otherwise.
Correct.
And it's a greatly feared, condition, Alzheimer's
Yes,
and dementia,
yeah,
for everybody, really, not just many people, everybody.
yes, absolutely. Well, I think we will wrap it up at that, Annie. Have you anything else to add at that right now?
Yeah, but we could talk about it all day long, and maybe we
Yes,
should do another,
we
session,
can.
and,
Yeah, absolutely.
on it, because I think people will find it very interesting, and it would be good to, maybe even, ask people if they want to ask any questions, or,
Yes, we might arrange a webinar. We could
yes,
arrange a webinar. Yeah,
yes, you can do. I run courses on dementia and Alzheimer's, so we could do, it's easy enough to do,
yes,
half an hour on it,
fantastic.
a little bit of information,
Yeah,
and lots of, and bring, the solutions, because we're about
yes,
solutions.
totally.
You and I, we're about getting solution
Absolutely.
focused, and not just, you don't want people sitting worrying about stuff, but you want them to be able
Take
to get
action.
it and address it and to sort it. Yeah.
Exactly. Excellent. So we'll work towards that, so Annie. And
Yes.
um, thank you for joining me today. We will be coming on regularly to talk about
Yeah.
this topic, and I will drop the links to the publication, to the study. And if anybody wants to find out about L-arginine supplies, they can contact either one of us.
Yes,
Thank you so much,
absolutely.
Annie.
No, you're very welcome. It's been lovely. Thank you so
Take care.
much.
See you
Cheers.
soon.
See you.
Bye.